Welcome back to the channel, Stephen Howson. Today I'm going to look at the worry with Liam Delap. Now, Delap is one of the names that is attracting a hell of a lot of attention as a potential candidate centre-forward target for Manchester United. Now, clearly the interest is real. And the reason we've been covering it quite a lot is because it feels like it's one that's probably going to happen, right? Is it a straight shootout between him and Osman? Maybe. I don't know. I have no insight on that. Now, if it was asking about what the abilities of those two players are, I would choose Osman. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. There are a multitude of factors that you have to look at. One, does the player want to come? How much is he going to cost? Is he suited for the league? Is he suited for the system? And more. Resale value, contracts, all of that sort of stuff comes into it. And I think there are many worries with this transfer. You know, would Ollie Watkins be better? Yes, he would, right? And there's no but, except that he probably doesn't want to come. There are a multitude of things to worry about with this transfer. United taking a risk on yet another young, relatively unproven target. And we can't afford for it to fail. With that being said, here is the worry with Liam Delap to Manchester United. Now, United's history in signing strikers for well over a decade has been rocky. Falcao, wow. How giddy I was that night. Lukaku, Martial, Weghorst, Igalo, Ronaldo, Cavani, Zlatan, Zirkzee, Hojlund. Some of those have had flashes of brilliance. Not one of them has been able to prove to be the long-term solution. And strikers that we sign have either been at the start of their career with loads of potential, i.e. Martial, or they've been players that have seen more of a stopgap or coming to the end of the road. The only one that we really signed that was kind of in their prime was Lukaku, and he scored goals, but then he got fat and it all went west. The middle ground would be someone like an Osman or a Gyökeres. But I think the truth of the matter is that we cannot afford those players. And I also think that United cannot afford to get it wrong again. United are on thin ice financially, and splashing big on a striker, even though it's probably required, has to be the complete right one. United cannot afford to blow meaningful amount of money on another striker, and that includes even taking a risk on another young, unproven number 9. Look at how much we spent on Hojlund. Now, you've got the jump in quality required, and there is a jump in quality and certainly a jump in expectation between Ipswich and Manchester United. More eyes, more criticism, more expectation. Even teams play differently against you. Teams play differently at Old Trafford, than they do when they come to Ipswich. It's very, very much a sink or swim at Old Trafford. You don't really get a lot of wiggle room, growing room, or chance to find your feet. And United's history in the transfer market proves that most of them sink. And the issue with Delap is he's not exactly set the world alight either this season. He's at Ipswich. That matters. That is a factor that plays into this. But you're not looking at someone who's going to guarantee you 20 goals next season in a Manchester United shirt. He's going to potentially struggle. He's going to have to adapt to the higher level of competition and the tactical demands. That's a worry. The demands are going to be completely different between a side that just wants to avoid being relegated and Ipswich. See what I did there? A team that realistically wants to be in the Champions League next year, because that's really what we should be doing, right? We're not looking at a title challenge next year, but we absolutely should be trying to be a team that can get ourselves into a Champions League place. Now, there's been a lack of consistency in his play. His goal tally's not bad. Impressive considering how bad Ipswich have been, but it's not jaw-dropping. It's not Ivan Toney levels. And he has outperformed his XG this season. Now, two things happen when players outperform their XG. They're either very, very, very good, or it levels off over a period of seasons and you actually get around about the average. We have no way of knowing. It's too early in his career to know if he's a player that's going to consistently outperform his XG, i.e. he scores more frequently than he should do, which you do get. You get players that do that. Or if he's going to level off or even underperform it with, a greater sample size in front of us. Can he translate the current form into consistent numbers at a bigger club? Are we going to get more consistency out of him than we do out of Rasmus Hojlund? They're not too far apart in terms of their abilities on the pitch. I think there's a bit more ruggedness about Delap. I think he presses a little bit harder. I think he's probably better suited to some of the physical side of the game. But when it comes to their abilities in front of goal, maybe there's a bit more movement in Delap, but there's honestly, you're not looking at black and white, chalk and cheese. You're looking at two players that are not far off, really. And right now he's not far off good enough. United need a striker that we can rely on. And we're faced with a situation where we're almost without a number 9. United might even be better playing a false 9 than playing Hojlund at some weeks. Can we afford to do that if it's Delap and he delivers the same level of performance? His stats are not really much better than those that are at clubs in and around him. Would the likes of Rodrigo Muniz at Fulham or Strand Larsen at Wolves be a better fit for Manchester United, for example? Is he consistent enough? Is he of enough quality? Does he have enough of a ceiling to lock down the striker position for years to come at Manchester United? My gut instinct tells me that he is a slight upgrade on Hojlund. And it would be an immediate upgrade, but it would be a slight upgrade. It wouldn't be an absolute, oh my God, 25 goals, here we fucking go. It would be a slight upgrade in the immediacy. And I think he could grow into a player that could be a considerable upgrade. But we're not looking at Robin Van Persie 2.0. We're not looking at Wayne Rooney. I don't know if those players exist in world football. The problem that we've got is you can only piss with the cock you got. And I don't know if Manchester United have got the pulling power, the transfer budget, or even the ability to identify a striker that can come and say, I'll get you 20 goals. I play every week, I'll get 20 goals. Who's that striker? There feels like there's an air of an inevitability about United signing Liam Delap, and I don't know why. And maybe there's something that I'm not quite seeing, and I would love to be wrong on this. I don't think there's 20 goals in him. And right now, what Manchester United need is goals. And we need someone that can come in and go, I'll get them goals. Please let me know in the comments. Who is that guy? Is he that guy? And who would you rather we sign? What's the one player that's gettable, not going to break the bank, and can deliver 20 goals for us next season? Please bang it in the chat. I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.